1993, my son Joseph was born, and part of the requirements for Kaiser at the time, you had to donate a pint of blood in case my wife needed a C-section. Well, I went through that and I donated my pint of blood. And within 2 weeks, I got this letter from the blood bank that said that you have hepatitis C, you could die of liver disease or cancer, and you should get in contact with your doctor. It was something of that sort. So I'm like, oh shoot, man, I got to go get a shot. Well, I saw my doctor, and my doctor says, no, it's kind of like AIDS. We don't have any cure for this, but it's a slow progressing disease. And I said, what do I do? And make a long story short, within a year or so, they put me on a study through UCSD Medical, and I went on a trial called Intrion. And the protocol through that trial, I had to get a liver biopsy. They showed my liver was inflamed. So I went on this trial for 6 months, and then I had to get another liver biopsy at the end of the trial. That was completed, but the end result is I was a non-responder. I responded to the Intrion for 2 weeks, and after that, they called me what is called a non-responder. So they said that there was hope in the makes and that they'd keep me on a list. And then in about a year later, I was put on a trial at Sharps Hospital. And Sharps Hospital, it was interferon and ribavirin. I would take 4 to 6 pills a day along with 3 shots a week. I was on that study for about 2.5 to 3 months. I could not tolerate it. I was so sick. I had problems breathing with the medicine that I was taking. And so I was again a non-responder. I went on interferon one more time. I did it for the full 6 months, and just to slow down the disease. And again, I was a non-responder. When I got off of the medication, they measured my viral load at that time, and I was close to 25,800,000 was my viral load. I met a person through my work who took me down to Mexico. I talked to a physician here that was by the name of Mr. Turk, and he was an oncologist, and he assured me that this treatment would work for me. Well, I went down to Mexico, Tijuana, and I went to a hospital where I met Cesar Garcia. At that time, that's where I was treated with the catheter and the silver rod.
Okay. And what was your viral load at that point?
Well, before I went down there, it was 25,800,000.
And how long were you treated by Dr. Garcia total?
Total of 6 months. 6 weeks, I'm sorry. They took me across the border. They drew my blood, and the blood work down there said 0 viral load. Well, I didn't trust it, so I had it tested up here, and it came back like 700 here in the United States. Well, I wore it for another week, and they tested it again down in Mexico, and they said 0 viral load. And up here, they said it was less than 500, which means it's undetectable. Well, they pulled the PICC line out, and my internist said, you know what? You are at 0. And it's been 15 years since then, and I have not had any problems. It hasn't come back. And my ALTs, which they measure, are right around 35 to 40.
And that's been 15 years ago?
Over 15 years.
And what's your health been like since then?
Good, besides everyday work and stress, but my health has been really good.